Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are. Welcome to Being Episode 2. So, this is your first time here. Being is a new series on the channel that is basically about asking people what they do. Because we believe that your 9 to 5 doesn't just define what you do for work, it is a part of who you are, it is a part of the fabric of your being. So today we have another wonderful, amazing special guest, a man who is a lot of people's first experience to a very loud Christian lifestyle.
Yeah.
A man who is a logic seeker, a truth teller, no matter whose feelings get hurt. A man who is who is found on multiple sports fields. You can find him on the basketball court. You can find him in boxing as well. And right now he's killing the cricket game. He's killing the gym too. He's trying to be humble.
I wouldn't say that, right?
Nah, he's trying to be humble wearing this jersey. Like,
I wouldn't say that.
Trying to be humble.
Nah, there's nothing behind
it. You see. So this is one of my very good friends, MK. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, good, man. I'm excited to be a part of this. This is a nice initiative that you just came up with, and I'm just glad to be here, man. I hope I can answer these questions diligently.
Definitely, oh man, I know you're going to. There's no question about that. So, this episode is about being a Christhlete. You're actually the first person to introduce me to what that is. So, for people who may not know, do you mind let's just start there. What is a Christhlete?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not going to take credit for this term as I saw it on social media, on those Christhlete pages. So basically, it's a merge between a Christian and an athlete, right? So that's 2 in 1. You play sport mainly to glorify God. You're a believer who just plays sport, and you're trying to make it, but you're trying to make it through the grace of God. And what we're doing, what we usually do as Christletes, we try and glorify God as much as we can, given the platform, and we accept whatever our fate is.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a very good explanation. Now I want to get more personal. When did your journey as an athlete intersect with your faith? When did that start?
Okay, so let me start from when I actually started walking in the faith, which was I think it's about 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in July, somewhere there. Yeah. So I think when I came back to cricket after a very long break, like years, we're talking years, I came back and I was a bit, cocky, and I still had a worldly personality or characteristics. So just because I was good before the break, I came back and I thought, it's going to be the same thing, and I came back with a big head, you could say. And when I got there, I found out that I had to start over. I had to restart everything, learning from scratch. And when I got back, it was actually a year before I was saved. So the journey from, it was 2019, the journey from 2019 to 2020 wasn't easy. It was really not ups and downs, it was just downs. But obviously, as a sports person, when you pull up for training every day, there's some progress that you're making. So I got humbled. I had to relearn the game from scratch, and then I sort of just moved on and just made a little bit of progress. And then COVID hits, and then around that time, I was writing my examinations, final examinations, and that was around June. So I started just studying my Bible and whatnot, and I was already playing already. I had developed a passion. I had redeveloped the passion for the game. It was back there because I used to have it even before the break. So here I am, 2020, I get saved. And at first I'm just focusing on, okay, who is Jesus, who's God? And in the background I'm playing cricket. So fast forward time, still more downs, and there's a lot of downs and a little bit of ups, just some progress that I was making. 2021 comes. I can't remember exactly the period that I decided, okay, let me do this to rather glorify God. And I had to let go of, my other passion was music actually. And I had to let go of that because what I was producing was not glorifying God. So I was like, okay, maybe cricket is it. I don't know what the journey is gonna be like, but I was just like, I have faith in God that this is um, the thing for me to do, basically. So yeah, 2021, 2022, I come here first year. Um, I think by then I had now um, had grown spiritually. I'd kind of made progress, and I was still getting to know God and still like trying to build a relationship with Him, and yeah, also just playing the sport as well. And I realized that they may not be a hard hit. I know that I can't do this alone, and at that time I had failed many times, way too many times. I remember I would always be emotional after a game, like after performing dismally or something. Like I get out with 0 runs, but I'm calling myself a batsman and whatnot. And then I think that year, especially that year and 2023, between those 2 years was when I was like, okay, let me just be thankful for the opportunities that I'm getting rather than, just complaining and sulking. And maybe let me take it as God's plan. Maybe He has something planned for me in the future that I don't know. So it was sort of in that time that I realized, okay, I'm not going to give it up to God. Whatever He decides, I'm going to leave it in His hands. Right? I pray before the game, I pray after the game, regardless of the results. I'm thankful and I'm grateful. So that was when I realized, okay, now it's about being an athlete in sport.
Yes. That's a lovely answer. And you bring up a very good point that I also wanted to look into, is that you spoke about a feeling of now humility and actually being humble, that process of being humble. So I wanted to ask, what is the process that you have, or how do you navigate being content in your skills now as who you are now?
Yeah.
And also, like, what keeps you from thinking that you can be, from getting that pride again? Like, what keeps you from that pride?
Okay,
because you are getting better, right? So
Yeah.
what keeps you from like falling back into that?
Okay, so first of all, we have to start off from when you're at the top and you have that pride,
Exactly.
and you think you're on top of the world. When you take that fall, and God picks you back up, and then you take the decision, or your mindset changes from completely prideful to being completely humble. For you to fall back into that place, it's kind of difficult, especially if you constantly remind yourself each and every day that I'm doing this for God, I'm not doing this for myself. I think the chances of you relapsing back into that state are very minimal. But I won't say that I'm perfect. I'm still a human being, and I'm susceptible to sin. So what could happen is, right, I could, for example, say next season I'm playing in the Premier League. I could do well, I could get out in the papers, let's just say, hypothetically speaking. It could get to my head, and then I'll go back to that place again, and it'll take God Himself to humble me again, to just bring me down, and then to remind me that, okay, no, you have to remember who you're doing this for. You're doing this to further or glorify or enhance my kingdom, to promote it. You're not doing it for your own glory. Even though it's a desire of your heart, I will grant you that desire, but remember that the ultimate purpose is to just spread the word through the Gospels. I'm inspired by the likes of Manny Pacquiao, Evander Holyfield, Tyson Fury. They're also examples of people or athletes that follow Christ, and what they have to do, even though they might stray away sometimes, what they do is even if they take a loss, they still give glory and praise to Jesus. So ultimately, that is the end goal that you're trying to achieve.
I like that.
Yeah, and being content with your skills, man. I think it's the thing is, wherever this road takes me, whether I don't become a successful player, or I become a successful player, or I don't become a successful player and then a successful coach, whatever it is, I just know that it is God's plan, and whatever it is, I know it's for the better. Maybe for us to become a player, I would be duped up in the world again, and be caught up in the riches and the fame, and then it would lead to my downfall and ultimately falling from grace. Maybe he saw that. Maybe he saw that if I just continue with cricket altogether, I'll be in a dangerous spot in the future. You know how people are with betting and whatnot, and if you don't, so it's always something that you have to leave in God's hands. And I believe that in terms of contention, as long as you put in the work,
that should be your that should be it. As long as you've done the work,
that's your achievement. You put in the work.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it basically.
And sports is like, it's a very interesting thing because it's a lot of people view sports stars as idols, and it's not, sometimes it's not them who does it, it's just like people's desire, right?
Yeah.
So how do you now, even you can speak as a fan, how do you like navigate trying to maintain that sense of like when you're watching sport, people who are doing very well, how do you like still maintain their humanity?
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, worshiping other gods is people think it's literally just bowing down to another's claimed deity or whatever. It could be just worshiping or idolizing your favorite celebrity. That's idolatry. So first of all, you keep that in mind. If you love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, there's no way you're going to idolize someone else who's equivalent to you, basically.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I also used to be in that scenario where I would idolize celebrities, UFC fighters, cricket players, footballers, musicians, whatever. And then I got to realize that no, this is a form of idolatry. And when I found that out, obviously you have to allow the Lord to guide guide your heart into the right path. So everything basically, how in the same way you deal with every other sin, is get closer to God, and sin will draw far away.
That is true.
So that's basically the solution, and always love Him with your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, everything.
And even like, I'm even thinking about skills. Sometimes not even like the person, it's the skill that they have that people are idolizing.
Yeah.
And now as an athlete yourself, how have you been able to kind of separate the skill from you as a person so that it doesn't like disrupt your relationship with God?
Right. How can I answer this one? So, right, who I try to be, I try as much to
fit both characters into one.
Okay.
So who I am on the field or on the pitch is who I am out off the pitch, right? So for example, say I do something good or something bad happens and the fight is about to break out. You as a Christian, you are the peacemaker. You're the one who's civilized, who's kind, who's loving, who's patient with everyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really a way to merge the skill and your godlike personality, but I just think the best way you can do it is just play your game and don't be boastful about it. Don't be proud. Just stay humble and just remember to glorify God. Because it's just similar to maybe someone who's working in the fields, right? Like in the Bible, someone who's working in the fields, they plant, they harvest, and whatnot. Obviously, the Bible tells us that in everything we do, let's do it diligent hands and let's do it to glorify God. So when I'm out there playing, as long as I'm carrying myself in a manner that's righteous, I think that's what's important. So as long as you're not doing anything that brings shame to the name of God.
Okay. Now let's go on a bit of a negative time now. We're talking about you have a lot of skill every day, the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what happens on bad days? Let's say you make a mistake, like on the field and stuff, right? You make a mistake as an athlete, you're dealing with difficult emotions, like maybe you get angry or stuff like that. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so basically that's I think that's the importance of making or praying before you step onto the field. Or like, you know, in your prayer, say something like, Lord, please let your spirit take over and not my emotions and not my desires. Remind me of why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you, basically. So, yeah, emotions normal, very normal. You get angry. Sometimes a bad decision is made. Even in cricket, there was this one game in Joburg South. I was batting, going well, and then the umpire gives a very bad decision. Right, and I'm just there and I'm standing, I'm staring at him. But obviously, I remember, okay, you can't swear at him, you can't be angry at him, you can't have an outburst of anger, because all those things are bad fruit, or you know, the opposite of what God would want you to do.
Yeah.
So you just have to, you know, practice. That's when that self-control, that patience, that kindness, that goodness comes into play. Right, you just learn to walk off. You know, your teammates might be like, "Why didn't you challenge or whatnot?" There's no need. The umpire has made his decision. Let's be respectable towards him.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you make a mistake, yeah, sometimes you probably curse at yourself or whatever. You curse yourself or you probably swear. You know, other players do that. But I think I'm now at a point where I have that self-control, I have that patience, but back then it was like, you know, you'd be so angry, that outburst of anger, and it would even carry over to that same night that you want to sleep, and then now you're overthinking, you're thinking, and you're frustrated, like, how did I make that mistake? How did I get out? That was a silly way to get out, you know, but as long as you have the Holy Spirit with you and you continue praying, I think that's the importance of constant prayer, right? Before, after the game, before you sleep, pray. You know, it's the best way to connect with God and for Him to guide you, basically.
Yeah.
Because once you stray off that path and you want to follow your own, that's when your fleshly desires, your human emotions, they take over, and then they lead you into sort of a loophole.
That's true. Now to get into like sports, one of the foundations, the bedrocks of sports, is competition. That's literally a lot of what people are drawn to when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
And competition is a very interesting concept, especially as a Christian, because would you say that competition could it damage a Christian? Could it not damage a Christian as an athlete? How do you now navigate that space? Because competition is very interesting, and there's this question, like, we can go anywhere.
So I think the best answer to give to this question would be to ask the athlete and even the fans, like, what is the end goal of what you're doing? What is the goal that you have in mind, and what is the ambition that you have? Is it selfish? Is it, and I think once you answer that question, because if it's selfish, that's when the competition really riles up and leads people to doing things that they should not be doing. Like when we're playing basketball for money here, at times, you see people trying to fight over bad decisions made by a ref, because they just want to win. They're just focusing on, I should be number one, I should be, But if your mindset is, I'm doing this to glorify God, already it's not a weak mentality, but it's just avoiding putting yourself in that space where you get so overly competitive that your emotions take over and you do something that you do not want to do. So if your ambition is, okay, I'm serving God here, you have to just play your part. Play diligently, ask God to guide you, right? Glorify God in what you do. You won't even care if you win or lose. As long as you're having fun, you're out there enjoying. That's why most of the times, if you were to see me on the cricket pitch, whilst others are angry and we're losing by a big margin, I'm the one speaking and I'm laughing and I'm trying to have fun, because the point is I'm having fun and I'm trying to glorify God here. So and if it is God's will to make you win, He will make you win. If it's not His will, then you won't. He has something better. Like I said, He always has something better. If something doesn't happen, if you ask God for something and it doesn't happen, He always has something better. Just know that and keep that in mind. I also have that mentality, because I already told myself, right, if cricket doesn't work out, because what I want to do is, I obviously glorifying God, and then when we get to the big stage, if I do get to the big stage, God willing, and we win something like a World Cup or something, and which is not out of reach because Zim is actually
It's a good country.
it's a good
actually
cricket.
very
It has good cricket.
Yeah.
So it's not far fetched. So if it does happen, and I somehow am the player of the game, I'm getting the mic and I'm glorifying God. I'm giving thanks to Jesus Christ, and I'm probably even gonna preach the gospel there for like 5 minutes, even though the media, we know that they really. But if God wants the message out there, it will get out there.
That is true.
Yeah. So basically, that's it. What's like your ambition?
Yeah.
What's the goal?
And I think that with sports is about community.
Yeah.
Like if you look at faith and sports, it's so similar. Like if you really, I can't remember. Do you know Sports Spectrum? It's
No.
like this Christian. I hope I said the right name. But Sports Spectrum is like this faith-based. Like they interview people at the end, especially like high athletes. People are like really at the top of their game.
Okay.
And you see like one of the athletes was speaking about how a lot of the same values and beliefs that are in Christianity, they bring over to sports. Things like discipline, self-control, those type of things. They really complement your sports journey.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing to also like keep in mind as well is that sports is such an amazing way to also work with God, because there's so many similarities. And I'm sure you've all seen that with like how you've grown as a person.
Yeah.
With you're also like coaching now as well. So you also have like a different God is helping you in different ways. Maybe you need more patience, you need more stuff like that. So I think sports is like really cool in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that is true. It really, like I did mention a couple of times, patience, self-control, kindness. It also translates in everything and everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Those Christian values, that wanting to resemble Christ, it translates into almost everything that you do, as long as it's a good thing, obviously.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Alright, that is the last question, MK. I'll give you the final word. What would you like to say just to close it out?
All right. I think to every Christian athlete, and not just athletes, maybe you can be a content creator, you can be, whatever you're doing, whatever you're doing, always remember to put Jesus Christ first. He is the center of your life. He comes before everything else, right? Everything else is after. He is before. He should be the number one. And that is something that I need to tell myself as well. I need to be in connection more with God. And the most important thing is do not because you can also idolize your passion. Don't idolize your passion. Make sure you practice, make sure you work hard and all that, but don't make it the center of your life. You're always thinking, I'm always thinking cricket, I'm always thinking football, I'm always thinking, God first. Remember the Bible says, seek the kingdom of God first, and everything else, or all these things should be added to you. So he knows the desires of your heart, but if you put him first, he will uplift you. And if you do it in humility and in meekness, definitely he will uplift you, he will lift you up.
Definitely.
For sure. So yeah, that's me, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bro, thank you so much for all of your insightful answers. It was really, really nice to get you on to explain what it means to be a Christhlete. This was a very good interview. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot myself. Yeah. So
as an athlete yourself too, man. This guy plays basketball.
No.
This guy's a ball player.
Bro,
Tell your audience this guy's a ball player.
Before maybe.
Alright, man. Thank you.
Bro,
man.
thank you guys so much. That has been episode 2 of Being. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. So if you did, please comment what you enjoyed, any insights that you have as well from your own experiences, from what you heard from MK. I'd really love to hear those as well. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
All right.